All right, hello everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Chips and Chat. And for anyone who's new here, Chips and Chat is where I, the career specialist from Sierra Vista, sits down with a business and talks to them about what they do, how to get hired on with their company, some tips for being a standout candidate, and we eat some great chips or chip-like products while we are on the show. And I mentioned who I am, and the first guest we have here today, for first ever guest, because today is the 1 year anniversary. 1 year later, we're still doing this, and Moe from Lowe's has joined us again, which is so incredible. And Moe, tell us, 1 year ago, when I asked you to be on this show, what encouraged you to say yes?
Well, thank you, Angelica. And hey, everybody, happy Monday, right? July the 12th. So, you know what? My official title is Talent Acquisition Partner for Lowe's. Fancy name is saying I'm a recruiter, right? And I've got 14 stores that I recruit for in Southern Arizona, Sierra Vista being one of them. So, when I have an opportunity to do something like Chips in a Chat, well, I'm going to jump all over that and try and get out there, right? Because Lowe's is an amazing, amazing company to work for. I've been with Lowe's, it'll be 18 years next month. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I love the Sierra Vista area. In my former life, I actually worked for Kmart for 22 years, and back in the mid-'80s, we did a relo of the Kmart that was there on Fry Boulevard and then moved it, I guess it'd be further east. I think it's now the U-Haul Center, but I actually spent about 3 months living in Sierra Vista at the time and just love the community. Absolutely love it down there. So, in fact, I was down there, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and got to experience a monsoon storm because I love those, right? I've only had one up here. I live in Casa Grande, so we had one, actually, well, two this last weekend blow through on Friday and Saturday night. So, but I just love visiting the Sierra Vista community. So excited to be here. Can't believe it's been a year already since
Yes.
kicked off, Chips in a Chat. And, I'm just here to answer anybody's questions that you may have about Lowe's, about the different jobs. To be honest with you, I know that we're always looking for cashiers, right? I don't have any what we call critical roles available right now, but it's retail. That could change before I get done with this call, right? I just know that, right? You just don't know. So please, ask questions if you're not clear about something. Maybe you've applied and you've never heard anything. Let me know, right? And then I can always look into stuff for you.
Definitely. That's awesome. And for today's chips, you prefer like a cracker. So we are doing the Ritz.
I do, but I cannot lie. I forgot to get crackers at the grocery store the other day, but I have lightly salted Lay's. So,
hey, there we go.
I do prefer the crackers, and I totally forgot to get them the other day. So,
how funny is that? Well, these ones are the sour cream and onion flavor, so
they're
really
good. I've had them; they're very good.
Ooh, yay! Very good. Yeah. I've had their cheddar ones of this one.
Yeah, no, they're really good. I prefer my caffeine cold, so I have what's little bit is left of my iced coffee that I'm still drinking.
Incredible. So we were talking about, this has been a year ago. So a year ago when we started this, the pandemic was still going on. And, you had a lot of things in place. So how has that changed your business?
So, I got to tell you, our business actually flourished during the pandemic, right? And if you stop and think about it, where was everybody? They were at home, right? And as you're sitting there, you're looking around. One, you start getting bored. And two, you're looking around going, I should probably paint, or I should probably do this project, or I should do that project. So because of COVID, with so many folks being at home, our business really took off. Everybody was doing, do-it-yourself projects, and so that was great. For me personally, I am a people person. I enjoy being in our stores. That was interesting for me, having to start working from home. Uh,
Ooh.
I wasn't sure that I could do it. I wasn't sure I was disciplined enough to do it. But I got to tell you, the commute is much shorter when it's only 5 feet down the hallway, as opposed to right, as opposed to getting up, getting ready, and having to drive somewhere. I
Yeah.
did have to learn very quickly, though, that I needed to establish a routine. Because there were some days, come 5 o'clock in the evening, I was still wearing my pajamas. So I had to get right. I had to establish a routine to where I could get up in the morning and actually get ready for work. I'm not going to tell you that, I dress in work attire working from home. To be honest, I just put this shirt on over top of tank tops that look a little more professional. But it's great working from home, being in a tank top and shorts all day, right? And I can still get my job done. So things are starting to loosen up a little bit, and I am getting back out into my stores, which is amazing because I miss all the people, right? I
Right.
miss my store managers. I miss my hiring managers. It's just that human interaction and that contact of what's going on in each of those stores, and how can I support them a little bit better. So right now I've got a little bit of a hybrid going. I work from home right now 3 to 4 days a week, and I'm in my stores 1 to 2 days a week. So, which is nice. That way I'm out and about seeing people, and that'll change, and it'll fluctuate and go back and forth. So there's sometimes I won't be out in the stores at all during the week. And then there's other times I might be out, 4 of the 5 days. Or I'm out in the community doing career fairs. We're starting to do those again. In fact, I'm going to be down in your area sometime in August. I know there's a veterans career fair going on.
Yes, it's going to
Yes,
be the annual stand down
yep,
that's
yes,
coming
right,
down.
yes,
And it is by Coaches Serving Veterans, a stand down and resource fair that takes place. And they always have a job fair portion included in that. So that is incredible that I
yes.
will be seeing you there. That's
Yes, well,
awesome.
and we have a gentleman who works at the store there in Sierra Vista who is just recently out of the Air Force.
Ooh.
I'm gonna invite him to join me for that career fair, right? Because I've not been in the military. I don't understand the language, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the transferable skills, right, from a military career into a civilian career. So I'm going to invite this gentleman to come with me, and so that he can help bridge some of that gap and actually be able to give our veterans, a real life experience of what it's like to be at Lowe's, right, and to have
That is
transitioned.
awesome.
So I'm pretty excited about. He doesn't know he's coming yet. His boss already his boss already volunteered him to help me, but I do need to reach out to him soon so that he can put it on his calendar. So I'm
That's
pretty
funny.
excited. Yeah, I'm excited to be coming down and doing that. So yeah, I
Yeah,
can't wait.
he's going to watch this and be like, oh, I guess I'm that guy who's going to be
Right?
there. And I think that's so smart because you touched a lot on what it is to hire a veteran, right? How it's the language that's different and the skill set that you have. How does it translate into the civilian job that I now have? And to talk about that there is life after the military is a really great thing to have someone who's there, who's done it, who can help them understand it, which is incredible. And any employer who's listening, consider that option when you're attending, this resource fair and stand down or any other one that you attend in the future. That's a great, great opportunity to, have your employees help you with recruiting because they know it firsthand, which is awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm looking excited to making some more contacts, down in the Sierra Vista area as well. So I'm excited. I can't remember exactly what date it is. I want to say it's right around August 20th, I believe, but I could be off a day or two there. So, but anyway, yeah, so that's Lowe's. Does anybody have any questions for me on Lowe's or anything I can answer or anything?
I'm not seeing any, but I did want to know. So, what processes do you have in place now that it's kind of, in a sense, post-COVID slash, the new variants out there, plus a lot of vaccinated. So, what's going on in your store now?
All right. So in the current state that we're in right now, We are no longer requiring masks,
Right.
for those that are vaccinated. Now, we're not going to come up to you and go, "Are you vaccinated? You don't have a mask on." Right. Nor do we ask our employees, "Are you vaccinated?" It's on the honor system, of course. And it's a personal decision. I know that me personally, I've been vaccinated, but when I'm out in a large group of people, I still prefer to have my mask on. One thing it taught me, right, is that we didn't get sick when we were wearing our masks, right?
Yes.
Because
Not even
it's
from
not
allergies, nothing, right?
exactly right. So it's not just COVID that it's protecting you from. It's protecting you from all kinds of things, just the basic flu or cold or right.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, I'm just gonna probably from now on just gonna have a mask with me, right?
Right.
Right. So we are getting back to having career fairs in our stores, or hiring events, as we call
Okay.
them. And what we do on a hiring event is we will send out invitations to those folks who have applied for a position. Right. We'll send them an invitation that they can sign up for a specific time to interview. That way we're not having 100 people show up in the
Yes.
morning and have to sit there all day. They can actually pick a time frame. So
That's awesome.
we've had great success with that in the past few months as well. We still have, you can apply via your phone. You can text jobs to 965-387, I believe. I have to check that. 56937. I don't know. Hang on, I'll check it for you.
Okay.
And then we've got jobs.lowes.com, right, that you can apply through as well. Jobs 56937. There we go.
96.
Yeah. If you just text jobs to 56937. I hope. Hang on, I'm going to try it here real quick. I haven't had to use it for a minute. 56937. Yep. So you just type it in and it comes. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Hang on.
There it goes. Yep.
Right. So I typed it to 56937. All I did was type in jobs, and it comes back with a link right up here for me to click on. It takes me right to the hiring page. Right. So from there, you can just type in Sierra Vista, Arizona. Or if you know the zip code, put the zip code in, and then it'll bring you up the jobs that are in Sierra Vista, which is nice that it's just your store down there, because we up in Tucson and Phoenix, it'll bring you up all of Tucson, all of Phoenix, and you got to figure out by street
Where
address
you
where
are,
you're going. Right? So it's a little bit easier since it's all Sierra Vista, right? Yeah. So, and what other questions have you got?
So that's going on. So you told us how to apply, and you mentioned earlier that you were applying for cashier. So talk a little bit about what a cashier does for Lowe's.
So, our cashiers, sometimes the cashier may be the only person that ever interacts with that customer, right? Some customers come in, they know exactly what they want, they go straight for it, they get it, and they get to the front checkouts. They might not see another employee, right? So you've got to be friendly. I can't teach you how to be nice to people. I can't teach you how to be a people person, but I can teach you how to run a register, right? So bottom line, we're looking for friendly people that are good, have good customer service skills. That's going to be our first and foremost thing that we look for in any job. Very few of our jobs are very skilled specific to where we can't teach you. We only have one job that I know of that's very technical and detail oriented, and that is our cabinet specialist, because they're working with an AutoCAD program called 2020, right? Not that you can't learn it, but it helps if you've got some previous experience for it. But still in all, you've got to be customer friendly, right? You have to, you got to be able to deal with customers. And then let's face it, probably 99.9% of the customers are great, but you're going to have that one who will just try and ruin your whole day. Right? So you need to be able to brush that off, right?
Yes.
Right? Because you know what? You really don't know what's going on in their life. So you just smile and wish them well, and go on to your next customer, which is something I've preached all my years in retail, because you're always going to have that one that's not friendly, that's not nice. And those are the ones where, you know what, they may have woke up in a lot of pain that morning. You don't know. So you just
Right.
smile, thank them, and tell them have a great day, because the other 99 people that you deal with are going to be amazing. So we've got some of the greatest customers that you're ever going to want to deal with. But so it's all about customer service, being customer friendly, right? And then there's always opportunities to grow and promote with our company. So
That is true, because you guys are
yep,
nationwide, so
we are
endless growth
nationwide.
there.
Yep. Yep. So another thing that a lot of folks don't know that we deal with, I'm not sure if you ever heard, it's called Generation T.
No.
Okay. And you know what? I've got some information on that, Angelica, that I will send you out. Okay.
Okay,
So
great.
it's called Gen T. All right. So, for years and years and years, we've been telling our kids, go to college, go to college, go to college. Right. And
Right.
college is great. But what happened to the skilled trades? We have a huge deficit right now in our skilled labor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Such as our electricians, our plumbers, our folks that do HVAC, our construction workers. So there is a movement out there, and it's called Generation T, and it's a national movement. So we have our own in conjunction with that. It's called Track for the Trades. You only have to
Ooh.
be with us for 6 months, and you can enroll in one of these programs. Lowe's pays for it. We're going to put you basically through a trade school. Appliance repair is one of them. It's probably the shorter of all of them. Once you graduate it, Lowe's will help you find a job in that field.
Oh, this
Okay.
is incredible. What
Okay.
is the program called again?
Well, the nationwide program is called Generation T, or Gen T. Okay. But at Lowe's, we have a program called Track for the Trades. And you need to be with us for 6 months, and then you can apply to it. And we only accept so many a year. Well, so many per class. Okay. And then at the end of that class, there's a counselor that will help you find a job in that field. So let's say, for instance, it's an electrician. Okay. Now,
Okay.
we do installations, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we try and get our installers to hire these folks that have graduated. So then you're still working for Lowe's, but through another company in that trade,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a win-win for everybody, because there is such a
That
shortage
is so
in the trade.
cool.
Yes, yes. I will get you some more information on that. But at Generation T, look that up, and there's nationwide projects for it. We did, it was either last year or the year, I think it was right before COVID. So about a year and a half ago now, they did a huge project up in the Phoenix West Valley, where
Mm-hmm.
Gen T went to a school, because school used to offer shop, right?
Yes.
Kids, right?
Yes.
So they went to a school, I think that either just started offering shop, or I can't remember the exact circumstances, because like I said, it's been well over a year and a half ago now. And so Generation T went in, Lowe's went in, because we're a partner with this and we supplied stuff, and we had actual contractors go to the school, and they taught the group. I want to say each group was maybe five students, right? And they all made picnic tables, right? And then the picnic tables were then donated out. So
Hey.
it's teaching that skill, it's teaching that trade, right? There's nothing wrong with not going to college, but let's get a trade. Let's get a trade skill, because trades pay well. They pay
Yes.
very well, right? And there's such a shortage right now. So definitely a good program. So and Lowe's is very pleased and very proud to be part of that through our Track for the Trades program.
That is so
So
amazing. I love that. In 6 months, you have to be on with this amazing company, and all you seem one of the main requirements is just be friendly, and then you get a pass for a career. Like, this
yeah,
is incredible, and a
yeah,
needed fields as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you apply to it, and I don't know 100% what the criteria is for selection. It could be first come, first serve. I don't know.
right.
But I want to say right now in our district, which is the 14 stores in Southern Arizona, I want to say we have about 10 people going through the program.
That's really good. Yay!
Yeah, I could be off on my my numbers there a little bit, but yeah, it's a pretty neat and pretty exciting program, to say the least. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But definitely check it out. It's called Generation T.
All right, I will definitely look into that. And then, so you mentioned that they need to be friendly. What other requirements do they need to have to be employed with Lowe's? Is there an age or an education requirement?
There is. You have to be 18, right? So, and the reason for that is all the powered equipment that we have that we work around on a daily basis. As far as education, that's going to depend on what the position is, right? Okay. So, our department supervisors, we'd like to have a high school diploma or equivalency. Our assistant store managers, we would like to have a bachelor's degree or equivalent experience. Okay. Right. Because some people, let's say like myself, been working in retail for, okay, we're just going to say a long time. I'm not going to tell you how many. Right. I definitely have the experience, right? May not have the educational background, but I've got the experience to be a store manager. So, we look at everything like that. Now, you do need to pass a drug test and a background. All right. So with the drug test, and I understand that Arizona is a recreational marijuana state, right? Right. But if you test positive for marijuana, unless you've got a valid medical card, then you tested positive and we won't hire you. Okay.
Wow, that's really good to know because, like you said, it's allowed here, but it doesn't mean that.
Exactly, right.
But each company is still required to set their own, or allowed to set their own requirements around that.
Now, medical marijuana card, no problem whatsoever, as long as it's valid and for Arizona.
Okay.
Right? Because I had somebody that had a valid card, but it was from Michigan, and because it wasn't Arizona, they wouldn't accept it. Yep. Now, listen, for our background checks, okay, they never tell me why they're not approved. Okay, but I can tell you if it's got anything to do with any type of theft or embezzlement, any type of domestic violence, or violence, or sex crimes, anything like that, it won't be approved. Okay. Now, and I have seen this happen many a times. Arizona has one of the strictest DUI laws in the country.
Yes.
Right. So we have a lot of folks that end up with DUIs. Most of those have always been approved. Okay. Now where the problem may come in is depending upon the position you're hired for. The majority of our positions require you using power equipment, right? So we may get folks that are approved on their background, but not to use power equipment.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that does happen occasionally. Usually that will stem from a suspended driver's license or something like that.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
But what happens is so our backgrounds are done by a third party. Once they're run, if there's anything that shows up that the third party questions, I'm sure they've got some criteria they work with. It goes to our legal department at the corporate office. They're going to review it and then send us back a determination. So, and all they tell us is approved or not approved. We don't know, but the applicant will then receive communication letting them know what was found, why they weren't approved, and what actions or steps they can take to get it resolved if they disagree with it. Okay. So typically between backgrounds and drug tests, once we make an offer, we have them back within 5 days. So typically there's a time or two where once in a while it gets hung up, but not as often, thank goodness. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's really good. That's really good because it shows that you guys are wanting to actually hire people. So the process goes pretty quickly from, application to interview, background check, all of that. So that way people aren't left wondering, a month later, hey, what happened to that application?
Yeah. I mean, and occasionally we do get some that are hung up. I've got one that's hung up right now that I've been waiting for an answer on since the end of May. But that is very, very rare. Very rare. Yeah. So
interesting. Let me see here. I can't think of anything else. I mean, you cover so much information in such a quick amount of time because you're so passionate that you're like, going ahead and providing that information already, which is incredible. But I can't. I mean, why don't you share some stuff? I know COVID's been going on. What has changed more about your position? You're going back out in person. Is there anything specific that you're looking for in people or doing for your job?
It really depends. My role in all of this, right, is that I support the roles of we call them critical roles.
Okay.
So a critical role will start with what we call an SSA position, or a staffing and scheduling administrator.
Yeah.
They're the ones that actually call everybody to set up interviews, right? They
Okay.
take care of all the scheduling of just not only interviews, but to staff the store. They do payroll. So whenever we have one of those positions available, I'm the one that sources for them, right? I'm the one that goes finds candidates, make sure they're meeting the criteria that we're looking for, and then have them apply, and we go from there. I also do our sales specialist positions, our department supervisors,
Nice.
assistant store managers, and store managers. So what happens is when anybody applies to any of those positions, or if I'm not getting applications, then I go out and source for them. But I go through and I look at the qualifications of the individual, and if they have the skill set that we're looking for, depending on what the position is, I'll do a pre-screen with them. And then when I'm done with the pre-screens, I then partner with the store manager, and they go through and we talk about everybody, and then we move people into the interview phase with the store manager. And then once that phase is done, my part of it's kind of done at that point, because then the store manager will make a hiring decision based off the interviews that they have done, right? And then we offer the individual the job. Okay. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. So
Right.
my biggest thing, and I can tell you right now, I don't have anything open in Sierra Vista that's the upper level today. Tomorrow may be another story. You just never know, right? So, and that's what it is. So I'm out on Indeed and LinkedIn, and I'm trying to find people that fit the criteria that we're looking for these positions.
That is incredible. So that's really good. So anyone here who's watching, right, check daily if you're interested in Lowe's, because it's retail, so positions change all the time, right? People get to promote, people move on to different departments, or move out of the area, especially here in a military town. So it's those kind of reasons. Keep checking if it's an interest, and have an online profile, because just like herself, she mentioned, they recruit for people to help fill these positions. So Indeed or LinkedIn, and any career job center can help you make those profiles, especially here in Sierra Vista. We can definitely help build it, help you put a resume online, so recruiters like Lowe's and other ones can help you find that. And let's recap what the requirements were. So they have to be 18 years old. Yep. They have to pass a drug test. They have to pass a background check. And as you mentioned, it's a yes or a no result that they get. They can always request more information as to why. But you yourself just get told yes or no if they move forward in that process. And then you got to be friendly. It's not a requirement to have customer service experience or certain career experience. Obviously, it's dependent on the position you're applying for. But for the cashiers, generally, you're just looking for some friendly people who like customer service, who are people friendly, because there are certain skills you just can't teach,
Right. That's right. The other thing you can do is at our jobs.lowe's website.
Yes.
You go in there. Okay, so you can go in there and you can fill in all your information. You get your profile and whatnot in there. It's going to take you a few minutes to set it up the first time. Once it's in there, you're good. Okay. But you can also go in and tell it to notify you when there's openings. So you don't have to look 2 or 3 times a day. It will shoot you an email when there's an opening for something that you're interested in.
Awesome.
Right?
Look at this technology, right? Benefiting us here in the job process. That's awesome.
What on earth did we do without it? Right?
Right.
Crazy,
like utilize it to help you. That is incredible. Absolutely. I like that. So jobs.lowes.com is where you're going to apply online, build your profile, set up your notifications, especially if you're really interested in working for this company. I mean, Mo, you've been there for what, almost 20 years, you said?
Yep, it'll be 18 years next month.
18 years. And what got you started with Lowe's then?
Well, I spent 22 years with Kmart, right? And quite honestly, I think I had a midlife crisis. And I decided that if I was ever going to look for another job, it needed to be then. And I had heard Lowe's was just starting to come into Arizona. Like at the time, we only had, oh gosh, maybe 4 stores in Arizona.
Wow.
Maybe. Yeah, I think there was about 4. There was one in North Phoenix, one in Peoria, one in Chandler, and one in Mesa. I think we only had 4, but we were on a huge expansion at the time, right? We may have had a couple others. There may have been 6, but and Lowe's. And so my job with Kmart, I did everything. I started there part-time right out of high school. And I did everything. I was a corporate trainer for them for a few years, but towards the end, I got into their Supercenter division, which is like a super Walmart, super Target, right? Worked my way up, and I was actually a human resource manager with them. So, and had been in human resources and operations for quite a few years with Kmart when I, like I said, had my midlife crisis and quit without a job, mind you. I don't recommend that to anybody, but and I had done some research on Lowe's, and they were an up and coming company, and everything I'd read was really positive about them. And they were looking to transition from having what they called personnel and training coordinators, which was an hourly position in their stores, and actually transitioning that to a salaried human resource manager position. So I applied. Yep, I applied. I was the first in our region at the time. I was the first external hire for HR, which was kind of cool. At the time, I was also only the second HR manager in the state of Arizona at the time.
Wow.
So I was an HR manager for Lowe's for about 15 and a half years. So, right. Yep. And I opened a couple new stores. I was in Tucson. Let's see, I started in Mesa, was in Tucson, South Scottsdale, and then East Gilbert. And I was in East Gilbert for 11 years. I've never been anywhere for 11 years. And then Lowe's decided, they went through what they called HR transformation. They decided that not to carry salaried HR managers in each store. Instead, what they wanted to do is kind of go back to the personnel and training coordinator. They're calling it staffing and scheduling coordinator right now, or admin, just to handle the administrative needs. And then any of the employee relations stuff is now handled by the corporate office. So when that transition took place, and we were also changing how we're doing our hiring and, our ATS and all that stuff. So this position became available. So I applied, was interviewed, and offered. I feel so blessed and so honored that, because I knew that I didn't want to leave Lowe's, because I just so believe in this company, and it's just such an amazing company, and I did not want to leave. So I feel very blessed and very fortunate that I got this job, and I've been doing it now for a little over 2 years. So
wow.
Yeah, excited about all that. Yeah,
such
cool.
an incredible journey, and I like that. And I like it more too that the research you did 18 years ago, almost 18 years ago, was saying it was a nice company, really friendly, are still true today. For a company to keep their values that long, it really speaks to their company culture, which is incredible. I mean, going through the pandemic, they still kept those values, and that is awesome. And you're still there, and you're loving it, and you want to hire friendly people too to come work with you. And I just think that is a great environment and a great opportunity for all of our clients who are interested. It's potential there. You have stores all throughout the state. So anyone in our network, our Southern Arizona network, has potential to apply, or if they're looking to relocate somewhere.
Yeah, so that's going to go to jobs.lowes.com or the 56937. And, you'll be able to, and the 56937 will send you a link to the jobs.lowes.com, right? And then just put in your zip code, your town, or maybe you're looking, maybe that you're going to be relocating. All right, we've got Lowe's in every state, right? Alaska and Hawaii as well, right?
Wow.
So, yep, and I know that Sierra Vista being a military town, we are huge on hiring our veterans and our veterans family. So I will tell you, one of the things I also like to do is, during our busy season, which in our environment, our busy season is spring and fall. In fact, we refer to fall as second spring because we're just as crazy busy in the fall as we are in the spring.
Wow.
Yeah, Christmas, we're not busy like a Walmart, Target is, right? At Christmas time, Black Friday, of course, everybody is, right? So for us, it's spring and fall. So during our busy times, we will sometimes hire seasonal or temporary help, and temporary meaning up to 6 months. And one of the things that I really like to tap into is I try and reach out to our military recruiters, because a lot of times they'll have recruits that are on delayed entry, which means we know they're going in and they want to work until they go in, but they can't commit to a company, and some companies don't want them because they can't commit to them, right? Seasonal hiring is perfect because I'm only looking for you for maybe 1 to 6 months, right? So if your delayed entry is 3 months, it's it's a win-win. If your delayed entry is 1 month, it's still a win-win, right? So, and then some folks, it's just a matter of maybe they're going in the reserves, right? So they done their go away to boot camp, they come back, and then maybe we can offer them a regular position. And then, of course, we understand it's the 1 weekend a month, the 2 weeks out of the year. So we do have quite a few folks that are in the reserves as well. So
that is awesome.
yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
That's great. Look at that. You're willing to work with everyone's schedules and hire friendly people. There's no reason not to at least just look and see what they're applying for, what they're hiring for, so you can apply. Like, this is incredible. Thank you so much for being here for the 1-year anniversary, for sharing your wonderful information again.
Absolutely.
People stay posted. You can set up notifications so you don't have to go on checking daily on the website for what they're hiring for.
Yeah.
And they do that by a zip code area, so you're not going to get notifications for everything in the company. So don't worry about that, right? Just for the areas that you want to apply in, which is incredible. And Mo, maybe we'll see you next year at the 2-year anniversary.
You got it, ma'am. I'd love to. I'll still be here.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Bye, everybody.
Bye.